Get those legs up.
You're watching High Now Weekender, the Hawaii Army National Guard takeover. From ceremony and drill to combat training.
Do you have what it takes to be one of Hawaii's own? Find out today on High Now. All right, I don't know how you watched that open and you're not fired up about today's show as we have the Hawaii Army National Guard, and whoo, that was awesome.
Yes, I was saying I just got my voice back after screaming like that when that helicopter came in. But I mean, it's going to be a fantastic show because throughout the show, we will be speaking with incredible servicemen and women who will be sharing their experiences about being a part of Hawaii Army National Guard. I cannot wait. I mean, we did so much filming beforehand and we had so much fun, but we also learned so much as well.
And it was just cool to go kind of behind the scenes, and we were out at the training facility over there in Waimanalo. We did it for a day just to get a small little taste of what some really brave men and women are doing every single day. So shout out to them. But today's show, you're going to learn a lot in terms of recruitment and a lot of the benefits that come along with joining Hawaii Army National Guard as well.
That's right. And good thing it was just a little portion for you and I, because I don't think we could have handled the full thing. And today we're going to find out if we could handle it, right?
That's right. It's all about, do you have what it takes to be one of Hawaii's own? And we've got a ton to get to, but we're going to kick things off with Drill Sergeant Rodarte Hua with Rachel and I in the shade.
That's right. We learned how to stand at attention and how to fall in line. Take a look.
Hello and welcome back to a very special High Now Weekender as Rachel and I hang out over here at the Hawaii Army National Guard. Right now we're taking the time to catch up with Sergeant First Class Rodarte, and he is a Army Drill Sergeant over here. So I have to ask, Drill Sergeant, what motivated you to get into that?
Well, when anybody joins the military, you're gonna go through many trainings and schoolings and whatnot and come across many instructors, but none will stay in your memory like a drill sergeant. And I remember mine from way back when, their faces, their voices, and to be able to make this accomplishment and put on this brown round, what we call it, was a very much an honor. And it was a way to come full circle. You know, as I'm coming closer towards retirement, I figured what better way to give back. In recruiting, of course, we talked to all the brand new applicants, and we set them up for success at basic training. So the more I know what right looks like, because as you go along in your career, you might veer away from certain standards and come up with your own isms. Going through this course brings you back to reality. You know, the Army only has one standard, and that's what I send my applicants off to training with, is that one standard.
Absolutely. And what do you think makes, what are the necessary qualities, the necessary traits it takes to be an effective drill sergeant?
Hollywood would have you think that it takes a lot of anger and screaming and yelling. More so, you gotta have patience and compassion, and you gotta be passionate about your craft. I'm very passionate about this uniform. I love and respect it, and honestly, I owe my life to this uniform. If you have those qualities, they can train you on all the stuff you need to know and how to present it in a manner in which it'll be effective for our trainees. But if you come in there open-minded with passion and compassion, you'll be all right.
How do you ensure discipline at the same time as being motivating to the new recruits?
Especially for the younger ones, if you are the standard, you show up, your uniform looks squared away as a drill sergeant, your hair, you walk the standard and you walk the right, that shows them motivation. It's like, I want to be like that. You know, for me, it was like, you know, you pick that one drill sergeant that you want to become one day, because downrange, like, they are the Army gods. They're like the epitome of being in the Army. So if you show up and you're the standard, day in and day out, and consistent, it's easier to maintain the discipline amongst the new trainees.
I like that. Show up and be the standard.
That's right.
I like that.
And when you show up for basic combat training, how do you make sure that everybody's successful, that everybody gets through and passes?
Well, you know, in reality, not everybody's gonna make it. You know, only 1% of our nation will join the military, and out of that 1%, we try to get as many people to pass. I feel like the training is set up for you to pass, but if somebody doesn't show up and give the effort, we can't just push them through, because people's lives are at stake here. And that's what makes me take it to heart more is I know one day the trainees are going to be in the formations with my battle buddies and maybe be in a position where they have to save one of my battle buddies' life. So I need to make sure that they are prepared and they are the right ones to be in the uniform.
Drill Sergeant, last question for you. We were just talking a little bit earlier. 27 years now,
Yes.
you've been in service. What kind of impact has that made on your life?
Profound impact. Like I said, I owe my life to this uniform, to the Hawaii Army National Guard, and to Hawaii in general. We moved around a lot, so a lot of the Hanai families that took me in showed me the ways, and then each unit will have its own culture. Like I've been in the mainland unit. They're excellent in what they do, but there's no culture like the Hawaii Army National Guard culture. We are a family. When we deploy and we go places, we go as a family, and that keeps me going and makes me want to keep filling the ranks for the next generation.
But I think it's time for us to get in formation.
Rachel and I are gonna try be kind. Stay tuned.
Command to fall in has been given. You get your left hand up, shoulder length. Your fingers and thumbs will be extended and joined.
Right, straight. Forward, march. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. RC leads the way.
Your right hand will be over your left hand, interlacing the thumbs like such. Bringing your heels together, sharply on line. Your toes pointing out at a 45-degree angle. Your head and eyes will be facing to the front with the chin drawn in so that the head and neck is vertical.
Right leg, march. Re-up. You're crazy. Re-up.
You're crazy.
Re-up. You're out of your mind.
Re-up. You're out of your mind.
From this position, there's only two things you're allowed to do. Blink and breathe.
Left, right, left. Call them left. March.
Your arms will swing naturally.
I hear you calling.
I hear you calling.
Calling for me.
Calling for me.
Savior of battle.
Savior of battle.
68 with Jay.
Every day.
Group. Hold. Right. Face. About face. Stay in the immediate area for future guidance. Dismiss.
We are a piece of work, right? Kind of.
Thank you, Drill Sergeant.
Yes, I feel like we stand a little different now, maybe. I don't know. But right now we are here with the commander of the Recruiting and Retention Battalion of the Hawaii Army National Guard.
That's right. It's such an honor and a privilege to be joined by Lieutenant Colonel Alan Tudela, 27-year military veteran, and we're very grateful for your service. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, well, let's start off with a little bit about you and how you got into the Hawaii Army National Guard.
Okay, awesome. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan Tudela, as mentioned, the Recruiting and Retention Commander for the Hawaii Army National Guard. 27 years of service, 4-time deployed combat veteran, and very happy, amazing father to a 14-year-old young girl. That's just the love of my life. So.
Well, right on. And Lieutenant Colonel, Rachel and I mentioned earlier, we had the chance to really go out there, spend the day with you guys. But tell our viewers a little bit about some of the drills and some of the things that we did. We just did, we were with Drill Sergeant, but what are people going to see today?
Okay, what you're going to see and what you just saw is actually part of our recruit sustainment program that the Army National Guard has across the 54 states and territories. The program here in Hawaii is actually the #1 program out of all 54 states and territories. The drill sergeants you saw, it actually helps individuals that come into the Guard experience what it's going to be like to go off to basic training and AIT and kind of take those fears away and everything. But, you know, just being a part of the Hawaii Army National Guard is just an amazing and self-fulfilling, and the acts of service that you're able to do just being a part of the Hawaii Army National Guard.
Absolutely.
And throughout the show, we are going to go through a ton of topics within the Hawaii Army National Guard. What are you most excited for the viewers to see, and what are you excited to showcase?
Well, what I'm most excited is just us being able to feature the Hawaii Army National Guard. If you've seen over the past few years, you know, from lava flows, you know, the hurricanes to even the COVID pandemic, and how we were able to react and be a part of helping the communities. Some of the things that you're actually going to see through this segment is, you know, our aviation capabilities with Chinook helicopter, the twin-bladed helicopter that's going to come down that you saw a little bit a part of it, the recruit sustainment program. You two are going to experience actually a little bit of the obstacle course and live for a little bit for a day of what's going to be like to be a soldier.
Okay, Lieutenant Colonel, I got to ask real quick before we let you go. We were out there for the day. What did you think of the High Now team? Drill Sergeant, the turns we're working on.
Yeah. No. Not too bad. You did very well.
Shabby?
That was generous.
Yeah, not too shabby. So just being a soldier, the biggest part of it is just having the heart to be able to do it. Just being able to, do something bigger than yourself and everything else. Throughout that day, from what I saw from you folks, took instructions very well, and I think you guys could do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for kicking off our show. We have so much more to come. Check it out.
It's unique, exciting, and challenging.
The sky's the limit for this female Army aviator who was inspired by her father's flight path.
All right, on my mark. Get set, go.
And finds out if we have what it takes to be one of Hawaii's own. Kainoa and I go head to head on the obstacle course.
Up. Hey, do not use your face to get over my obstacle.
Ready.
Then we're hitting the road in a military-issued Humvee. This and more right now on High Now.
Right now, I have the privilege of speaking with a remarkable female Army National Guard officer who has successfully transitioned from the dynamic world of field artillery to the intricate realm of military intelligence. We'd like to welcome Captain Teo Waililo Petelo, Military Intelligence Officer. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I got to find out first about your inspiration on, becoming part of Hawaii's Own. How did that start?
So I knew that growing up, I've always wanted to serve. And just in general, my upbringing of my parents talking about education. And so the first highlight was education and serving and, what's best of being able to serve within your own state. So of course, just joining the Hawaii Army National Guard, it just opened so much vast varieties of opportunities. And I joined specifically for education. And it just led to many more other opportunities that I never saw before when I had raised my hand over 10 years ago.
Wow, and what does that feel like to be a female soldier, and how has that changed your outlook on life?
I think in general, being a female from the state of Hawaii, we bring the aloha spirit. I think that brings a lot to the table regardless of where we go, where we have exercises, training, schools. That itself pulls us out from the rest of the population of wherever training we go to, and that creates that relationships that carry us a long way, longevity-wise. In our career, the relationships. So like I mentioned, just overall, that aloha spirit being a local here in the state of Hawaii.
Absolutely, nothing like being from Hawaii and having that camaraderie and that ohana. Speaking of, you are a mother of a 4-year-old
Yes.
son, so that's incredible. But I mean, if you had to give some words of encouragement or wisdom for some other females or just anyone who might be thinking about becoming one of Hawaii's own and joining, what would you say?
My recommendation would just be, if you have that drive and will, take that leap of faith and, raise your right hand and join. I do recommend just the opportunities that this organization will definitely take you a long way from here.
Absolutely, and what you're saying is if you're thinking about it, just do it, just
Yes.
go after it. And I just wanted to just thank you so much for being here with us, for just your service to our country, and I just really, really admire you and what you have gone through. So thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna toss it over to Kainoa right now.
Mahalo, ladies. Earlier in the show, we saw a great video of the Chinook chopper landing on the field at the Hawaii Army National Guard training facility. And earlier, Rachel and I had the opportunity to catch up with a female aviator who has taken her career to new heights.
Now we just saw the Chinook helicopter land right here, and man, the sheer size and power of that thing is incredible. Right now we're with one of the pilots. We've got Chief Warrant Officer 3, Sun Min Chun Dayan Dun.
Now tell me, you fly the Black Hawk. What motivated you to become an Army aviator?
To be honest, my dad was a pilot in the Korean military, so I had always been interested in aviation. But quite honestly, I didn't think that it was a possibility for me because I'm an immigrant and I'm female. But when a recruiter approached me and asked me if I wanted to fly, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try, and here I am today.
That's right, girls who fly. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your experience and your qualifications to get you here.
Yeah, so when you first apply, you don't have to be qualified to fly any aircraft. I had 0 hours when I went to flight school. So I am a UH-60 Mike Black Hawk pilot in command. I'm currently the aviation safety officer for my unit, and I also serve full-time currently as the aviation recruiter for the Hawaii Army National Guard.
Now, son, when you started, you mentioned you didn't need a ton of qualifications from when you begin, but what is the training like to become an Army aviator?
We first start off with really rigorous training at Warrant Officer Candidate School. It's going to be in Fort Novosel, Alabama. And followed by that, you take some more leadership classes. We go to survival training, and then you do some systems academics, followed by jumping in the aircraft with an instructor pilot, and you're starting to hover, learning how to land, and doing terrain flight approaches, masking, unmasking, and it just progresses from there.
That's right. So there's so many different things that you got to learn, and so many different aircrafts, right, that you guys get to train on and fly. This is the Chinook that just landed, but what other types of aircraft do you get to work with?
Okay, so we first start off flying the LUH-72 Alpha, the Lakota. And once you finish with that, you get to either fly the UH-60 Mike model for the Hawaii Army National Guard or the CH-47 Foxtrot, which is what you see behind us.
Very cool. And I gotta ask, what do you love most about what you do as an Army aviator? And, like you said, you're one of the few female aviators. We're seeing a lot more of them, which is fantastic. But tell me your favorite thing.
My favorite thing is that it's unique, exciting, and challenging. It's a very humbling experience every time I get in the cockpit. I'm learning something new every time that I get to fly, and even when I'm not flying, it's always something new every day.
All right, son, thank you so much for a day in the life over here. But don't forget, aviation is just one part of the puzzle at the Hawaii Army National Guard. Stay with us here on High Now, much more to come.
Move control. 741. Copy.
Welcome back to High Now Weekender. From diverse career paths to unique benefits and community impact, the Hawaii Army National Guard offers an abundance of opportunities. Here to tell us more is Command Sergeant Major Brandon Kumalai. All right, now let's start off with the Hawaii Army National Guard and the different roles it plays here in Hawaii and federally.
Okay. Yeah, so the National Guard is unique in a sense that we are actually the oldest component of the United States military. This year, I believe we're turning 387 years old. So we are unique in a sense that we have federal and state mission. So our state mission towards the state of Hawaii is to provide trained and equipped units to protect property and life within the state if we're called upon. Our federal mission is kind of the same, to provide trained and equipped units to defend the United States all across the globe.
Awesome. Well, you're talking about different units. There's different types of jobs and areas that you can go into. So if you can expand on that, that would be great.
And I wish I had a recruiter with me, but we have units in every county across the state, pretty much every one of our main islands. On the Big Island, we have 3 different types of units there, 4 different types. Aviation, our cavalry headquarters is there. Part of our engineer battalion is there. On Maui, we have vertical engineers that are there. In Honolulu County, we have most of our footprint, which is here. We have whatever you can think of. Everything from the band to cooks to combat support to field artillery, aviators and everything. On Kauai, we do have part of our CAV there as well. the last of our infantrymen are there on Kauai. And
Well,
yeah.
what would you say makes Hawaii's own unique?
We grow up in our communities and we serve. We don't, leave our communities. So we continue to live here and serve here, and we make lifelong friendships in the National Guard. Most of the people that we serve with, it's over a course of 20 years. So it's not just the military connection we have, but it's an actual community sense of friendship, and we have lifelong friends.
I love that, and being here in Hawaii, that's really what it's all about. But quickly before we go, I just wanted to touch a little bit upon active duty versus the Guard.
So yeah, we are very similar when we called up for our federal missions, but we do have some unique capabilities and units that sets us apart. Our civil support team, the active component doesn't have that. We have our SURF-P and a couple other units that is a little bit different capabilities.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking story. I love what you folks are doing within the Hawaii Army National Guard, and thank you so much for your service.
Mahalo.
Right now, we're going to send it over to Kainoa.
Thanks so much, guys. Now, as you're going to continue to see throughout the show, there's tremendous benefits to joining the Hawaii Army National Guard. The connections that are made, all of the people that you meet. I had the opportunity to hit the road with local boy, Staff Sergeant Keikoa Nakamura, to talk about how his military career began with family.
Ready.
Now we're hitting the road. We got Staff Sergeant Keikoa Nakamura. We're hanging out here in the Humvee. And Humvee stands for something, right? What does that stand for?
It stands for a high mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle.
So when do you guys use vehicles like this?
We can use it for all sorts of things. Normally back home here, we would use it for training. For us in 777, we're an aviation support company, so we use the Humvees to transport soldiers, equipment, ammunition, if we have to go to the range. It's a highly versatile, multi-use vehicle.
Talk about maneuverability when it comes to the Humvees. A lot of Humvees do different things, yeah?
Yeah, so this is a base Humvee. This Humvee is just like your normal Toyota Tacoma base model. There's different trim levels depending on the unit that you're in and the mission that you're trying to conduct. There's a cargo Humvee where it's just a higher canvas, so you can transport troops in the back. You have a flatbed Humvee where it can be used just to transport large equipment across long distances. And then you also have other weapon system Humvees where there's, missile launchers on the back, and it just depends on the unit that you're in and whatever mission you're trying to accomplish.
Local boy, born and raised over here in Hawaii. How did that influence your decision to join the Hawaii Army National Guard, and what have you learned since joining?
So I actually come from a military family. My dad was in the Air Guard. My uncle served in active Army. My grandpas on my both sides both served for the Army. So growing up, I told myself this is something that I wanted to do, was be in the military. I decided to join the Army Guard because I also like the benefits that is given when you join the Army Guard, education benefits. So I used that to attend KCC. I ended up falling in love with the military after my first deployment. So now this is my full-time job, my Monday through Friday job.
The cool thing though about the Hawaii Army National Guard though too is that in addition to your full-time responsibilities that you have here at the training facility or what have you, you can still have a full-time job as a civilian, correct?
Correct. So your traditional weekend warriors, your drill soldiers, they still have full-time jobs Monday through Friday that they still need to accomplish. One of the benefits that you get with the National Guard is if you have a job in the military that directly correlates to an outside position, like for some of our aviation guys, they're mechanics, aircraft mechanics, and they can go and get their A&P license and be airline mechanics on the civilian side. So there's a lot of huge benefits that's out there that you can gain from joining the National Guard, getting that military experience, building that camaraderie, building that relationship with other entities out there, like how we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And then, you can work that into your civilian life and try to get something higher.
Staff Sergeant, what advice do you have to anybody who's considering joining Hawaii Army National Guard?
Find your nearest local recruiting office, talk to them, tell them your aspirations and what you want to do in your life. There's a lot of opportunities out there within the National Guard, Air National Guard, and some of the other branches. My main advice is don't be afraid. Go out there, do it. It's a great opportunity. A lot of opportunities, a lot of doors open up when you do join the National Guard. Because like I said, you meet a lot of people, and that's one of the biggest things is the connections that you create, the relationships that you build. So I'd say just go ahead and do it.
13 years as a part of Hawaii Army National Guard. What is the biggest thing you've learned?
I would have to say the biggest thing I learned is family. Family supports you through everything. You build a family within the National Guard, and this family can actually help strengthen your your family at home. Another big thing that I've gained from joining the National Guard is just the camaraderie, the brotherhood that I build with everybody that's in the unit, everybody that I've worked with. It's a different type of brotherhood and sisterhood that you build when you're in the National Guard, and you can't get that anywhere else, especially when you deploy and you're with these people 24/7 for however long you're on your deployment. It's a different bond. It's a different bond you build, and it's an amazing experience.
Stay with us, because after the break, we take it to the confidence course. It's going down. Well, at least one of us does. Find out who when we return.
Hey, how's it, Aloha gang? Welcome back to High Now. Rachel and I are hanging out with Hawaii Army National Guard. We're at their training facility, and right now we're at the obstacle course. We're with Sergeant First Class Fernandez. What are we getting into over here?
Well, today I'm just going to run you through the last 5 portions of the obstacle course out here at RTI. We're going to see who can get through this the fastest, starting with the first event with the high leg over.
When do recruits typically handle the obstacle course?
Well, it depends on what phase they are with the RSP program. It's usually the blue phase. That's about around the 2nd or 3rd month while they're at the training facility.
And how is this? Is this kind of like a make or break? They sign up within the first 2-3 months. Are you guys kind of already deciding at that point? And
you can just kind of test where their mind is at as far as confidence and strength, physical, but it's a good assessment for us to see where they are mentally and physically.
All right, well, I'm excited to do this. I heard it's also called the confidence course. I gotta tell you, my confidence is not very high right now.
I'm glad we're only doing 4 or 5 of the like 10 that we have over here too.
Yes, that means we're gonna need a lot of motivation.
That is too easy.
Too easy?
Too easy.
All right, well, we're also gonna have Sergeant First Class Rodarte. He's gonna be helping us along the way, motivating us, and hopefully we can make it to the end.
All right, before we hit the obstacle course, we got to shout out Team Boy. I'm going to be assisted by Private First Class Vasily over here. Hikino, let's go.
All right, and right now I've got Specialist Cullen right here, and it's going to be a little battle of the sexes, you guys versus us, but we always got to keep it safe, 100, so we've got a medic on standby, Specialist Shiosaki. We're going to make things happen.
All right, let's do this.
So I want to get you guys started in the front lean and rest position. Down on the ground in the push-up position. That's what we call the front lean and rest position. Not make an MOS out of this. Remember, your life decisions brought you here to me today. You're gonna push yourselves above and beyond. Yes?
Yes.
Roger. All right, on my mark. Get set, go. Hello, welcome to today. Let's go, trainees. Get those legs up. Faster, you. Let's go. You got this. Hurry up. Come on. Up, hey. There you go, Do not use your face to get over my obstacle. Let's go, trainees. You better not let him beat you. Let's go. Keep it moving. You got this.
Yeah, go.
Oh, good job, good job. Hey. Get up! Try it again. We do things 2 ways in the Army. The right way and again. You're up. Good job.
Ooh, that was tough.
Good job, good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
I don't know if I have what it takes. All right, so as they refer to it as the confidence course, I don't know if that improved mine or destroyed it. I'm still not sure.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Our editors were so nice because I had to do it again and again and again on that swinging rope. It only showed 2 times, but I was there like 10 before I even got
Yeah,
on
the
that
obstacle,
thing.
it's quite the challenge. But
So
it was good stuff. But
That's right.
now we're going to move on to this Best Warrior competition.
Yes, we are. The Best Warrior competition is an intense and highly prestigious event that showcases the remarkable skills, endurance, and resilience of the Guard's most elite soldiers.
Okay, so that's right. This competition brings together outstanding soldiers from various units and states, and we have 2 of Hawaii's own from Region 7 that'll be representing us in when it's time. So joining us here right now, we've got Sergeant Cooper Hulse. We have Specialist Quinn Mears. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Pleasure. You're both in great shape, I can tell already.
Yes, in great shape because you guys do that competition. We have to, know all about it. Tell us about that competition.
So yeah, the Best Warrior competition, it's comprised of 2 categories. One is for the soldiers and the other category is for the NCOs. I competed for the NCOs and Specialist Quinn Mears here competed for the soldiers. It's basically a week-long event that tests a soldier's technical, tactical, and physical ability, and it takes a lot of heart. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, let's talk about the mentality and some of the teamwork that has to go in order for you guys to be successful.
Yeah, so for the most part, the competition is kind of an individual competition, but where the teamwork comes in is when you're kind of like in your darkest periods and like you're really struggling to kind of pull yourself out of the trenches, your teammate's there to kind of help pick you up and carry you across the finish line.
Cool.
And then how does that, change your personal life? Like, what does that do for you folks personally when you guys enter these competitions?
Oh, you really have to kind of challenge yourself and push yourself. I constantly have to remind myself that my mind will give up before my body does. You just kind of push through.
What does it mean to you guys to be the best over here at Region 7 and be representing at the national the national competition?
It's the greatest honor to be able to represent not only our leadership, the state of Hawaii, but the Hawaii Army National Guard that gives us this opportunity to go out and, make a statement and show the rest of the nation what Hawaii has and what we can do.
Cool.
Absolutely. And then when will that be, this next competition? When and where?
So the next competition, the national event, will take place in Alaska. It's going to be the same thing, another week-long, no sleep test of heart and will, and I think we're pretty ready for it. And can't promise that we're going to win, but I can promise we're going to make it really difficult for somebody else to do it. So.
That's right. Well, I just got to ask, being in the Hawaii Army National Guard, just tell me about the best moments for you here.
Well, I think it's a lot of this competition. I didn't know Sergeant Hulse before we entered this competition, and he's become a really good friend and a brother. And it's the leadership in the Hawaii National Guard has been awesome. They've really helped move us to places that we're at now, and they've been encouraging me to go back to school, and fortunately, National Guard's going to pay for that, so I can finish my degree.
All right, well, Sergeant and Specialist, big mahalo, and mahalo for everything you guys are doing, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now up next, we're talking all about legacy. We're going to be joined by a family whose experience being part of Hawaii's own stretches across some generations. More when High Now returns. Hello, welcome back to High Now Weekend. Right now we're talking family and we're talking legacy. We're joined by the Pelekai Ohana. We've got Clyde Pelekai, Jr. Instructor Pilot, Clyde Pelekai, the 3rd CH-47 Pilot, and Blaze Kala Pelekai, Automated Logistical Specialist. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Benno.
Okay, so Clyde, we'll start with you. Let's talk about your military career, starting as a aviator and now into an instructor pilot.
Okay, well, first of all, it started a long time ago when I was just about to graduate from James Campbell High School. I always wanted to go to college, but I wasn't sure how I was going to pay for it, of course. So luckily enough, my brother-in-law, retired CW3 Lincoln Ishii, was in the Guard at the time, so he was familiar with the benefits and the opportunities that the Hawaii Army National Guard offered. So my sister Nani and Lincoln kind of recommended me to join the Guard, and so I did. I enlisted as a E1 and got in as a helicopter mechanic. And so I did that for a couple of years while going to college. And but while I was doing that during drill, I was very envious with the pilots in my unit because we were fixing the helicopters, but I couldn't fly it. So it's like being a mechanic, but not being able to drive the car. So I put in my packet for flight school, got accepted in 1998, and went to Fort Rucker, Alabama for 1 year for training. And then shortly after that, got deployed to Iraq with my brother-in-law in 2004.
So this idea of service is something that goes back with the Pelikai family, very long time.
Yes, yes.
And so how did it impact you? Watching your dad go into the service, you joined 10 years ago, yeah?
Yes, 10 years ago, right out of high school, I was 17 years old. And then backing that up, seeing my dad being a pilot, it was really starstruck for me. And I really wanted to do it, so I went ahead and joined the Guard at 17 as a mechanic, a helicopter mechanic for the CH-47s. And then as a mechanic, I stepped up to a crew chief, and then I flew with the CH-47s with my father in Afghanistan. So it does go back quite a bit. Yeah.
And what kind of impact did that have on you, Blaze, now watching your older brother, your father, the career that they have, and what aspirations, what are your goals now that you're joining the military ranks?
I would have to say some aspirations for myself and my own career would have to be to just gain more knowledge and experience within my own job experience, because me, my father, and my dad. Me, my dad, and my brother are actually on the aviation side of the military and the National Guard. So just having the opportunity to just learn all kinds of different new experiences at such a young age is just a really great learning experience for me. And just as a young kid growing up, just watching my dad and my brother, they're just really big inspirations to me. So that's just something I want to do when I grow up, is just be inspired. Like, not even just the people I know, but the upcoming generation as well.
And I bet they've inspired you in many ways. And Clyde, we were just speaking a little bit before, you're coming up on 34 years almost.
Yes.
34 years
yes.
with the Guard. How has it impacted you and your life and the legacy?
Well, the Hawaii Army National Guard really provided me with satisfaction. It was nice to be able to serve my country more than once and the community. And through all those experiences, I learned not to take life for granted.
Absolutely. Well, mahalo to all three of you for your service and for speaking with us here today. Stay with us here on High Now. It's still ahead. We're going to be talking about the timeless ritual of the folding of the American flag, the importance of supporting military veterans and funeral honors, next on High Now.
Today, we delve into the importance of honoring all who have served and the profound impact of meaningful ceremonies. Here with me is Staff Sergeant Ken Takemura. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, let's start off with you. Who are you and how did you get into the Hawaii National Guard?
Well, I'm Staff Sergeant Ken Takemura. I joined the National Guard in 2012. Proud McKinley graduated in 2011. But I joined the military as a field artilleryman, which is somebody who fires cannons, and I recently transitioned into becoming a recruiting and retention non-commissioned officer.
Awesome, and you said you started off knowing already at a young age that you wanted to join. How did you know that?
So in middle school, I lost my father, unfortunately, due to cancer, and from that age, I had to really grow up quicker than most. And I felt like the National Guard was actually, something that could provide me with that. But also my middle school teacher, Mr. Tani, inspired me to join the National Guard. And coincidentally, he was actually my first commander when I came into the Guard.
Well, fortunate for him, he has inspired you, and now you are here today. And I just wanted to touch upon how important it is for us as society to honor our veterans.
Yeah, definitely. Veterans, they're important, and it's really vital to pay respects to these veterans. A lot of these veterans, they don't like the recognition. They don't do it for the accolades. You know, they really do it for the love of their country. And you know, I think it's important to honor that. And then a simple thank you goes a long way. And I feel like, you know, saying thank you will definitely help them make their day.
Absolutely, and I come from a family with a lot of military service members, so of course we just appreciate all the work that you folks are doing out there and just you know, fighting for our country and our freedom. Now let's talk about the ways in which you folks actually honor with these ceremonies.
Yeah, so we do military funeral honors. You know, a lot of it we fold the flag and we present the flag to the next of kin, and we also do rifle volleys. But the significance of that is, you know, these veterans, they've sacrificed so much time and time away from their family and home, and you know, we really want to honor that and continue on their legacy.
Absolutely, and as we kind of get to the end, we are talking about how people can get into the team. So how can they?
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, they would need to join the Hawaii Army National Guard, and we're really looking for individuals who are driven and, you know, willing to volunteer their time, because a lot of these events take place, you know, outside during the weekends, right? So, you know, just somebody who's willing to sacrifice a little bit of their time.
And you are the one that's behind recruitment, so this is the guy that you want to see. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today. All right, right now we are going to send it over to Kainoa.
We're continuing to learn. Now, it's a ceremony that goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War, and we're continuing to learn more about the symbolism behind military funeral honors.
The mission of the Military Funeral Honors team is to render professional honors in accordance with service tradition for all veterans that are eligible when requested by their family members. There are many components to the military service. The basic requirements, or the minimum requirements, are the playing of taps on the bugle and the flag fold and presentation. But if the veteran meets certain criteria, they're also authorized the 21 gun salute firing party, or actually now it's called a 3-round volley.
Ready. Aim, fire. Ready. Aim, fire. Ready. Aim, fire. Ready. Present on.
The military funeral honors, or rendering of honors, can be traced back all the way to the Revolutionary War. So with that, it's been observed that the soldiers would fire 3 rounds over the gravesite during the burial, and that can actually be traced even further to the Roman times. Back then, what would happen is that the Romans would call out the name of the deceased 3 times very loudly to ensure that no one forgets their name. The English and the American colonies adopted that practice, and it soon evolved into the 3 volleys to also signify the ceasefire to allow for a burial. To ensure proper handling of the flag fold during the military funeral honor service takes a lot of training and preparation. So for soldiers to conduct these funeral honors, to render honors, they would have to be a member of the Honor Guard team. To be certified in Honor Guard, they have to attend a level 1 Honor Guard course, which is 40 hours or 1 week long. So as simple as folding a flag may seem, there's a lot of precision, discipline, and practice that goes into it. So the only way to get better at something is to keep doing it. We wear white gloves on our hands. That not only gives us a ceremonious appearance, but it has a grip to it, so we can have a better handle on the flag. For the flag fold, there are 13 folds to that. That represents the 13 colonies. Each fold has its own individual meaning. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White symbolizes innocence and purity. Blue symbolizes vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Altogether, it resembles a tricorn hat, which is what was worn by George Washington and his troops. So that is our nod to the Revolutionary War for claiming our independence and giving us the freedom we have today.
All right, now thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Now, just to recap, there are many benefits to joining the Hawaii Army National Guard. In addition to everything we talked about today, there's federal tuition assistance available for voluntary off-duty education programs, even career and job search counseling as well.
Plus, all Hawaii National Guard soldiers, employees, retirees, and their family and household members qualify to join the Hawaii National Guard Credit Union, which has several benefits of its own. For details, visit the website on your screen or just call the phone number that's listed right here.
There you go, 808-672-1306. And right now, it's great to have Lieutenant Colonel Alan Tudela back on with us. You saw us go through the obstacle course. There was a Humvee. There was the chopper landing. So how did the Hainao team do?
We can handle.
Yeah,
The Martian.
On the truth. To be honest, actually, you guys did great. To be a soldier and to be in the Hawaii Army National Guard, you heard a few of us talk about it. It's all about heart. You know, we're not only representing ourselves, we're representing the state of Hawaii. And as you guys are going through all the instructions from my drill sergeants, going through the obstacle course and everything else, you know, you represented yourselves well and just trying to represent us as a state.
Oh man, and I'm still feeling it from all the workouts that we did out in Waimanalo. But I gotta ask, what's coming up for the Hawaii Army National Guard?
So in regards to the Hawaii Army National Guard, we're always going to be there within our communities. It's not going to change for us. Our national motto is always ready, always there. So with that, you know, we're here to serve and protect and help out with in regards to state active duty missions or anything in regards to what our governor might ask. Along with that, our federal mission if they ever task us to go overseas. So, well, like I said, we'll always be ready, always there.
And I got to just tell you, Lieutenant Colonel, one of the biggest takeaways for me going out to the training facility, getting the time to meet everyone today, and when we get to go out there, is the takeaway of just the bond and the relationships when we were rolling around with Staff Sergeant Kit. But that's really what he was just talking about, is this this bond that's made with everyone that he's
the
come
brotherhood,
across.
the sisterhood, and just you see that obviously amongst everybody when they're talking, even all the guests that we had in today, everybody seems very connected, very much like an ohana, and there's really nothing like being a part of Hawaii and being one of Hawaii's own, right?
Yes, most
well,
certainly.
you know, if people want to get more information about how to get be a part of Hawaii's own, how can they do that? Where can they go?
Okay, there's two primary ways. So they can actually call a 1-800-GO-GUARD number and they can give their personal information in regards to how to join. And actually one of my recruiters will reach out to them. Along with that, they can go to nationalguard.com and then along with that, put in their zip code and they'll connect with one of us. So.
All right, well, Lieutenant Colonel, thank you so much. I think we were told there's one more workout that we're going to do before the show wraps, right?
There is?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so talking with my drill sergeants, you know, they actually told me you guys were giving them a little bit of a problem. So me as a commander, I'm just going to have to do this. So at this time, I need you to drop down and give me 20.
Oh!
I was just thinking maybe like, can I just give you a 20?
No. Sorry.
That's smart.
All right.
Thanks so much for watching Hainao. Head to the recruitment office and find out if you got what it takes to be one of
Hawaii's own.
Hawaii's own. That's 20.
I mean, I got what it takes, I think. Camera, move away. Did we do it? Did we make it? All right, we'll see you guys on Monday. Mahalo.
Everybody pivots at the same spot.
So I got to pivot off Rachel then.
No, you're going to be facing him.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. Your arm doesn't need to be up. Heels need to be together. Position of attention. We went over this.
Ready,